For the past 4 days, Turkey has been witnessing some of the largest street demonstrations in recent years. Across the country, citizens, once thought to be apathetic, have taken to the streets and public squares. Everything changed when the university degree of Istanbul Metropolitan Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu was revoked, allegedly to undermine his potential presidential candidacy, and he was immediately taken into custody. This triggered a major shift in the political balance, and the opposition began to take the lead in shaping the national agenda. For years, the CHP, Republican People's Party, had encouraged the public to stay away from street protests. Now, under the leadership of Özgür Özel, the party has realized it has reached the last exit before the bridge, and has called people into the streets. Framing the moment as a turning point, today is the day we decide whether there will be an election or not. The CHP has reclaimed the street and the square as the rightful spaces of political opposition. Through the Sarıhane rallies, it has positioned itself as the umbrella party of social opposition and, with a progressive and inclusive message, declared, "Today is the day we stand together and say enough." Despite this determined stance, the main actors of today's social opposition are neither the CHP nor its members. The true driving force is university students. In fact, young people have played a significant role in the CHP's rediscovery of the street. It is the youth who have shown a century-old party the way forward. In Istanbul, Ankara, Izmir, Antalya and Bursa, thousands of university students have flooded the streets and squares. To interpret their presence merely as a reaction to İmamoğlu's arrest would be an oversimplification. So who are these young people, and why are they protesting? Born mostly in the early 2000s, they live in a country that ranks 72nd in the world for GDP per capita and is among the 5 worst OECD countries in terms of income inequality. They are citizens of a country that ranks 103rd in the 2024 Global Democracy Index, out of 167 countries, and 117th in the 2024 Rule of Law Index, out of 142 countries. 1 in 4 young people aged 15 to 24 in Turkey is neither in education nor employment. Among those aged 15 to 29, this figure rises to 30%, making Turkey the leading OECD country for youth inactivity. Today, young people in Turkey primarily identify as nationalist, Kemalist, conservative, or Islamist. Nationalism and conservatism are currently the most popular ideologies. However, beyond these ideological differences, there are deeper and more universal realities uniting the youth, realities that those in power have largely overlooked. Only 10% of Turkish youth are optimistic about the future. Another 28% describe themselves as pessimistic. The vast majority express a sense of resignation, repeating the phrase, "Things have always been this way and always will be." Beyond the pessimism about today and tomorrow lies an even more troubling fact. These young people believe they will live lives similar to those of their fathers, and they expect the same for their own children. They are fully aware that they have inherited a low quality of life and will pass that legacy on. Today's youth carry the burden of a grim inheritance. As a result, they see no future for themselves in Turkey. 30% believe their future lies abroad. This figure is even higher among students who also work, and among those from lower and lower middle socioeconomic backgrounds. 1 in 4 young people from upper-class families also wishes to emigrate. It is widely accepted that this figure would be even higher were it not for fears related to becoming immigrants. That is why these young people are now raising their voices in the streets and squares, to reclaim their future. Regardless of political identity, they are united in demanding a better future through 5 clear and essential expectations: social justice and equality, economic fairness and more equitable income distribution, higher living standards, high quality and accessible education, career prospects and employment opportunities. These are the demands of Turkey's 15 to 24 age group, young people who have lived their entire lives under AKP rule. University students in particular are voicing the demand for an equal, just, and free country more loudly than any other youth group. Every generation has its own story and is shaped by its own social dynamics. Comparing one youth movement to another, or judging today's youth through the lens of previous generations, would be deeply unfair. Today's youth movement places the anger and demands that have been building for years squarely before society, the opposition, and those in power. These young people are taking ownership of their future,